Hello and welcome to Lofty Pursuits and Public Displays of Confection in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Greg, and I'm here to celebrate our 100th video with a tour of the shop and some special 100 emoji candy. So I've already added the flavor to the pot as I pour it. And what's the flavor, you ask? Well, I'm doing two different flavors with two different candies for this assortment. There'll be a brown wrapped candy which will be coffee flavored, but it won't be a standard coffee. It'll be a Kahuna coffee, a Hawaiian coffee that Kahlua is based off. It's delicious. And the second one is going to be amaretto, because I like amaretto in my coffee. And we're going to do this with the 100 emoji logo. And until I made this video, I didn't know there were two versions of this emoji. One is used by Apple, and one is used by Android, of course. And the best part about this, we're going to give the candy away free with an order. And we'll give more information about that later in the video. These videos were actually created for two reasons. I guess three. The first one was to preserve some history in a public forum. Another one was to get people off the interstate. We're right next to I-10 in Tallahassee, Florida, and 10,000 cars a day drive by. And I was a little offended. None of them were coming into my shop. So I thought I would tell people I was here. I figured they'd want to come if they knew about me. So I ended up putting up these videos and inviting people in. And you know what? You guys have come, and I want to thank you so much. Mention in the comments if you've come by the shop in person. I'm always interested in how many of these people who visit still watch my videos. And number three, of course, was I wanted more people to experience the candy that I make. I'm very proud of it, you know. So for the last 99 videos, I made videos about history, about candy making, and I made sure that candy was the star, not me. This video is going to be a little different because I realize a lot of you don't know the history of Lofty Pursuits. This seemed to be the time to share it. Lofty Pursuits started as an outgrowth of another business I had, originally called Gravity Specific. I started it with Jonathan Lyons. It later became a firm called Infinite Illusions, and we manufactured juggling equipment and shipped it worldwide. I branched into yo-yos, and eventually we needed a storefront, and the storefront opened in 1993 on September 17th. Here I am juggling in front of that storefront, and we sold stunt kites and things like that. We moved 5 times in the history of the business, picking up something every time. We expanded into toys with one move and board games with another, and we eventually expanded into ice cream, and we expanded into candy making, and lastly, 2.5 years ago, we expanded into serving brunch 7 days a week. Over the last 33 years, one thing has become clear. Nothing stays the same. Your customers change every 4 or 5 years, and I'm convinced if you don't change with them, you get left behind. So I keep on changing, and I keep on figuring out new creative ways to do things, and that's what Lofty Pursuits is about. A reporter once called Lofty Pursuits a performance art project that happens to turn a profit. That reporter might even be right. I mean, I don't have Employee of the Month photos. I paint portraits of my employees instead. And the things that decorate the shop aren't like a Cracker Barrel where I'm always afraid of going into one and finding a photo of my grandparents on the wall. Everything is something special, something that interacted with me or the store or the business. From paintings I did of the creature from the Black Lagoon because it was filmed 20 minutes from here, and I at one point ran the soda fountain out overlooking the springs where it was filled, to things like the musical instruments which I painted that our marching band uses, to circus memorabilia, gifts I've been given, things that I just find interesting, and things that make me laugh. And all of this with the candy and everything else on a background of a soda fountain, where we use glass serving dishes, and we have a menu with 52 Sundays, because there are 52 Sundays in the year. How many Sundays do you want me to have? And the food that you may know from the videos is wrapped by our toy store. The toy store we started with back in 1993. It's still here, and it's bigger than it ever was. We're known for our board game collection and our general toys that I try to pick out to make people smile once again and find things they can't find elsewhere. People ask me what we sell here at Lofty Pursuits, and I try to sell happiness. That's my answer. If I can put a smile on somebody's face, it makes me happy, and it makes what I do worthwhile. And that brings me back to the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel now allows me to make people happy, it seems, around the world. And I can't tell you how much joy that brings. And that's why I've made 100 videos. And you guys keep getting the candy that I can ship because I haven't figured out how to easily ship ice cream. I seem to be making you happy, and it makes me happy, and, you know, too many people don't worry about enough happiness in their life. And I have a lot. And, you know, that's good. Well, back to the candy. And the candy, you can probably tell because I used yellow when I stirred in the food coloring, is not going to be the coffee. This is going to be the amaretto. and we're going to pull this on the hook for a couple of minutes. And I'm pulling it here because I let the candy unfortunately cool unevenly and I need to fix my problem. I'm going to put it on my candy pulling machine, and if there are hot spots, when the machine goes it'll tear where this candy is hotter than other bits. And of course what I'm doing here is I'm folding in air bubbles, and each of those air bubbles make the candy reflect light, and that makes this candy white. This is going to be the white part of the candy. Now, for certain candies, it's either too hot or too heavy for me to pull on the hook, and I use this machine to help me. But those few pulls on the hook really made a difference to make this machine happy with the candy staying on it. If you've seen a bunch of our videos, this music is probably familiar to you. This band is called Bounce House, and it used to be the house band of Lofty Pursuits. Years ago they split up and went their separate ways, but we still love their music, and I thought I'd bring it back for this video, being that it's the 100th video and all. To make the 100 design, we're going to start by making one of the zeros, and we're going to do that by wrapping some white candy that we've cooled a little bit more than the rest with some red candy. If you'd like to try some of our candy for yourself, go to www.pd.net and you can order some, or you can come by our shop in Tallahassee, Florida. We're right off I-10. We also serve a great brunch. But for a very limited time, if you use coupon code 100, the number 100, and you place an order worth $10 or more, we'll toss in a free sample bag of this candy, which is of course a blend of this amaretto you're seeing us mix and the coffee flavor I told you about. And keep in mind, we're only going to have this candy for a week or two, but this video will be up for years. So before you try the coupon code, look at the date we posted this video and see if you think it's up and working. Now that we built the 2 zeros, it's time to build the 1. The 1 was tricky because I'm trying to hold a sharp corner and I don't want it to round out, and I want the flat side to be round. I accomplished this doing a lot of temperature control. Of course, the colder candy stays straighter, but if I don't do it right, it won't pull evenly in the next step. Now we end up putting a spacer on the 1, and all that's left are the stripes that go under the 1. And now that the design is done, it's time to wrap it in the white hot sugar. And lastly, the outer wrap of yellow. I've placed the hot sugar in our batch roller, this cool little machine from about 1910, and it keeps the candy spinning to keep the design from distorting. And I'm going to size it down from about a 7-inch diameter log of candy down to about a 1/2-inch rod of candy. At this point, the way the candy behaves is really cool. It's a non-Newtonian fluid. You may have heard of oobleck. It behaves like a thick version of that. I can pull it out slowly and it behaves almost like a liquid, but if I hit it hard with the back of the scissors, it shatters in a clean line. All that's left for me to do is to cut it into individual pieces on our little candy anvil, and we have thousands of pieces of candy to send to you. We're going to blend this with the coffee flavor, make an assortment, and make little bags that will include, if you use our coupon code, 100. Just the numbers. Thank you for watching this video and all the others. We really appreciate it. We're Lofty Pursuits. We're located in Tallahassee, Florida. If you want to buy our candies for yourself, go to www.pd.net, and for the next week or two, remember coupon code 100. And if you're ever in Tallahassee, we're right off I-10 on Thomasville Road in Tallahassee, maybe 4 or 5 minutes away. Please come and visit. We'd love to see you. We open at 7 a.m. and we close at 10 p.m. We serve brunch in the morning and ice cream in the evening, and it's a cool place with toys and stuff. But I've already shown you that. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to us here. Click that little alerts button, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We'll see you in the next video because there will be more videos.